According to the Organ Procurement and Transplantation Network, there are more than 100,000 people in the United States awaiting a life-saving transplant. We're joined today by St. Luke's transplant surgeon, Dr. Matthew Wilkinson, and one of our transplant coordinators, Erica Sparks, to talk about the life-saving impact of organ donation. Thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Erica, I want to start with you. Organ donation can come in all shapes, sizes, and backgrounds. Why is that important for patients to know?
We don't want them to rule themselves out because of perceived barriers that they may have, whether health history, whether it's chronic conditions, that isn't considered a universal indicator that they can't be a donor or a recipient. And so we do want them, our physicians here can have those serious conversations with them. We want to expand the word, to expand the network for organ donation, whether that be heart, liver, kidney, tissue, bone, and so forth.
Dr. Wilkinson, what should people know about living donors specifically?
I think with regards to living donors, we know that patients generally are able to get transplanted faster. Yeah. For organs like kidney, people may have to wait 4.5 to 5 years, and that's in this part of the country. Yeah. If you have someone that can donate a kidney to you, they get worked up, you get worked up, and we're able to go ahead and get you transplanted. Moreover, we know that those organs are generally going to last longer than from a deceased donor.
Erica, I want to talk about your role as a transplant coordinator. Can you explain what you do and how you fit into the process of a patient receiving a new organ?
Yeah, so as a liver coordinator, we follow the patient in the pre and post stage. And in the pre-stage, we educate them about the whole process. We get them to the finish line of selection, presenting them. And then after that, when they are approved for transplant, we even follow them after the transplant itself. So we will set up all of their appointments. We'll get a medication routine set up for them. And then we follow them for the life of that organ.
And Dr. Wilkinson, what does the interaction look like for you as a transplant surgeon with a transplant coordinator like Erica?
Our interaction with them is basically on a daily basis to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do as the physicians. The coordinators really are the touch point for the patients, and they're the person who makes sure that everything gets done and gets them to that transplant. As the surgeons, at the end of the day, we're sort of the fancy plumbers. That's our major part, and the coordinators really are the ones who make sure that those patients are well taken care of.
They really are that touch point from beginning to end, Absolutely. Which is great. We really appreciate the role that you play in that process. Dr. Wilkinson, in regards to liver transplant specifically, what can you tell us about those in need of a liver donation?
So for people that need a liver transplant, we certainly know that they're going to be sicker. Livers are allocated or given to people based on how sick they are. And what we've been seeing much more of now, especially with better treatment of hepatitis C, is that the people that we're transplanting are either having alcohol-associated liver disease or metabolic-associated liver disease like fatty liver. So we want people out there to know that if they've ever been told you have fatty liver, you have elevated liver enzymes, it makes sense to see a liver medicine doctor or a hepatologist, which we have here at St. Luke's.
That's great to know. And Erica, what distinguishes liver transplants from, say, a kidney transplant situation?
Yeah, so for kidney, they have dialysis to help keep them stable while they're waiting for their donor. Yeah. With liver, we don't have that equivalent. And our patients can be very sick, so it can be an end-all circumstance for them. Yeah. So like Dr. Wilkinson said, just want to echo that, here at St. Luke's, we have a liver team, a hepatology team that can help manage our patients with their liver disease and even in their chronic conditions.
This last question is for the both of you. Any final thoughts on the importance of organ donation or the transplant process? And Erica, we'll start with you.
I just want to put the word out there to donate life, and, we are at a shortage of organ donors. And so, to spread the word, or to, if you want to be a living donor, to have yourself worked up and talk to somebody, I think is the biggest, word of Donate Life Month. So,
Dr. Wilkinson, you?
And as we know, there are over 100,000 people in this country waiting for organs. And one of the biggest things we see is that people say, oh, I can't be a donor because I have this. I can't be a donor because I have that. And we always tell people, never rule yourselves out. If you have that desire to give that gift of life, come see us as physicians. And even more so for living donor, like we talked about before, people who need organs are afraid to ask. And that's something else we can help with. How do you ask someone for that precious gift of life?
Life-saving work by our coordinators and by our surgeons. We really appreciate you guys joining us today. Thank you again.
Thank you.
To learn more about our abdominal transplant and multi-specialty clinic, visit stlukeskc.org. You can also stay up to date with all the latest health news and stories from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.